Hi, and welcome to Kidney Plugged In. We have a couple of things to celebrate on this February episode, including the Lunar New Year celebration. It's just a few days away, commencing on February 10th. It'll usher in the Year of the Dragon, and it lasts 16 days, ending with the beautiful Lantern Festival. And Plugged In host Heidi Lau is here to highlight many of the Lunar New Year traditions. And in the spirit of Valentine's Day, we bring you some good news story updates from past guests on Plugged In. These are kidney patients who have successfully traveled a journey from diagnosis to transplantation, and we have some good news updates of triumph and hope that will not only inspire you, but it'll warm your heart just in time for Valentine's Day. And the Kidney Wellness Hub Come Cook With Us chefs, Dani and Anja, are back to share with you a sumptuous Valentine's Day dessert. And we have some updates for you on the 12th Annual Kidney Gala, taking place on March 9th at the Paradox Hotel, Vancouver. And even if you're not able to attend, we'll tell you how you can bid on the online silent auction and Restaurant Row gift cards that will be available for viewing and bidding very soon. So stay with us, because all of this and more is coming up next right here on Kidney Plugged In.
Happy Lunar New Year! 恭喜發財! Across the globe, around 2 billion people celebrate the Lunar New Year, an international holiday observed throughout many Asian countries. While in the Western culture, New Year lasts just one day, the Lunar New Year goes beyond that. The Lunar New Year begins with the Spring Festival and ends with the Lantern Festival. This year, the Lunar New Year starts Saturday, February the 10th, and ends with the Lantern Festival on Saturday, February the 24th. Each year, the date of the Lunar New Year changes. But regardless of the date, each culture that celebrates has its own historically rich customs, traditions, and beliefs. In the Chinese zodiac, there are 12 animals, and these 12 animals coincide with the lunar calendar. Each year is represented by one of the 12 animals, and 2024 signifies the end of the Year of the Rabbits in 2023 and the entrance of the Year of the Dragon in 2024. Chinese tradition says people who were born in the Year of the Dragon are confident, ambitious, charismatic, and naturally lucky. They are like born leaders of the zodiac crew. Dragons also love gold, silver, and the color yellow, and their lucky numbers include 1, 6, and 7. Similar to the Western culture, the Lunar New Year is about letting go of the past and embracing the present. It is a time of celebration to be shared with families and friends, and an opportunity to show one's love and gratitude to the ones that you care about. It is also a time to pay respect to ancestors and older family members. In a way, it is like a holiday blend of Christmas and Thanksgiving. On Lunar New Year Eve, families come together to share a large meal, and traditionally, a meal that includes fish will be served. It is a sign of good luck and abundance in the new year. Traditionally, younger people will receive red envelopes with money in from older members of the family. It is also a time when children will get new clothes in celebration of the dawn of a new year. And of course, like in the Western tradition, a New Year's celebration wouldn't be complete without fireworks. They are an important tradition in celebrating every Chinese New Year. 再一次恭大家龍年龍馬精神，恭喜發財。
Leave me a message and I'll get back to you.
I can't believe it's been almost 20 years since we met. My whole life has changed. Whenever I felt alone, you were there for me. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I couldn't have done it without the Kidney Foundation. And now, I need you more than ever.
So post-transplant, how are you both doing now?
Good. Yeah, really good. My energy is pretty good, and doing the best we can to stay fit. Working out in the, they've got a great exercise room here at the Kidney Suite. taking advantage of that or going for 2-hour walks on the beach, going all the way out to Spanish Banks and back. And I think that's important, and that, you know, you have to kind of push through a little bit of discomfort, but when you do, you feel better.
So Hugh, what has having a kidney transplant meant to you?
Well, over 2.5 years on dialysis, that is a big part of your life. That's 12 hours a week in the chair, plus an hour driving each way. That takes a huge chunk of time out of your schedule. When you realize that you're going to be free from that with a new, fully functioning kidney, that just frees up the possibilities so completely. Traveling was a bit of a complex issue. You got to set dialysis up in a lot of remote places. That doesn't have to happen anymore, you know, and I'm still just kind of getting my head around that concept. I haven't had dialysis for 6 weeks now, and when we go home, I won't be making those 3 trips a day into Kamloops.
Yeah.
Well, the anti-rejection drugs, of course, are crucial, and as you know, if I don't take those, my immune system will immediately attack the new kidney. Billy got me a pill organizer that has each morning and each evening's dose right in there, so it works pretty well. When we get back to Kamloops, it'll be probably a clinic visit once every 2 weeks, and I think that gets cut back to once a month.
My daughter, Ava, was diagnosed when she was 5. It was a long name, but it was basically acute renal failure. And that was a tough thing to hear. You think the worst and oh my God, but then you have to decide how your attitude is going to be almost immediately. Okay, great. Look at all the amazing nurses that we're meeting. Or, aren't we lucky that we get to spend this much time with our child? Having a chronic health challenge creates some challenges from a mental health point of view, being anxious about going to school, being different, hospital stays from time to time.
I pretty much spend most of the time either on my phone, watching movies, or drawing. I'll see what I have in here, I guess. Had a really hard time with school because I would get into class late a lot because I was so tired, or I'd just been unhooked. It wasn't scary, but it made me feel kind of gross. And I always felt like it wasn't my body because I had this tube on my stomach. So I kind of felt like I was part of this machine, functioning with the machine. Without the machine, I wasn't functioning.
In August of 2020, Ava received the gift of life from a deceased donor. There's people that are your friends, there's people that are family, there are people that you see at the grocery store and you have no idea that they might have a new kidney, or they might be alive because of that gift of life. The kidney disease will, one point in her life, will pull her back into the kidney community, but places like the Kidney Foundation are there to catch you.
G for Calma, you look fantastic. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling like I'm 50 years old again. It's just amazing. The transformation was, I can't explain it, how the energy level went up, how much better I feel. The appetite's better, the weight gain is great, almost too great. But I mean, it's the feeling of the energy boost that really, I guess, surprised me, how fast that happened. And just, there's the only way I could put it, the way that the transformation that happened so quickly thereafter.
It's amazing. It's like going back, like you said, going back 10 years. So there's so much we can do now. There's so many things. We can look forward to doing stuff. We can go and visit our son without having to go, what day is dialysis? If we leave this time, we can be down there and at this time, and we have to race back for dialysis at this time. And, not having to do that is just, it's so different.
What are some of the favorite things that are now back on the menu for you?
That I could eat? Bananas, tomatoes. So in other words, I could have pizza because of tomato sauce. And we did that. We went down to a pizzeria and got a pizza made, and it was delicious. After 4 years, nice. I missed it.
What else has changed in life?
Energy level. I'm supposed to walk for 3 to 4K a day, and on a normal day I'll do maybe 5 or 6, and on a really good day I'll do up to 10 or 12. And the doctor went, what? And I went, 12K, just walk around town. So, but that's nice to have that much energy. And I always remember that we talk about energy. I remember my last day of dialysis, we're walking back and I had to stop probably halfway up and lean on a building to have a break. And then I had to get Francis, my son, I said, hey, you better take my arm and kind of start me here. One of my goals was to not use that little elevator to walk up those 8 stairs. And as time went on, I did it. And then now I just don't. Away I go. But again, these little goals that I made for myself were just I had to do it. I wanted to do it.
Meal plan.
Hello and welcome to Come Cook With Us. I'm Dani, dietitian here with my colleague Anja, and today we're just so excited to celebrate Valentine's Day with you with some very fun, delicious, and easy desserts.
We're going to be starting with our baked pears, and we will cook along as we get some fiber, protein, and these romantic pears on the table.
We're going to try to take a little bit of a spin on some favorites and make them more nutritious and delicious so you can enjoy them every day. Now, sugar is not off limits, right? We can use sugar in our baking and in our cooking, even if we're living with diabetes, but it's just about trying to create that balance. So that's what we'll show you with our recipes. So let's get started.
All right.
All right.
So first, we're gonna be making some baked pears, and we're using pears. One, they're very sweet, so they bring a nice natural sweetness. We will be mixing in some sugar again. Pears are also really high in fiber, so a great way to not spike blood sugar levels when you're still enjoying dessert.
So one thing I like to do with pears is I like to essentially leave them in a bowl at room temperature for a few days.
Oh yeah, they're gonna take these, so these are not so ripe. Wouldn't be quite ready to eat this one yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely leaving it till they ripen, and then you can pop them in the fridge and they will last longer once they're in the fridge. Thank you, Dani.
Great.
For this recipe, you do want them probably a bit riper than this, but you still want them to be a bit firm. You definitely don't want them to be too soft.
I think it's a great way to use up pears too. Instead of them going bad in your fridge, you're kind of cooking them. So it doesn't matter what color they are because you'll be baking them.
Exactly, and they're gonna let out all that natural sweetness too as you bake them in the oven.
A lot of people with diabetes that I work with are really afraid to eat fruit. I notice a lot of over-restriction with fruit, so I hope this clip just gives you that reassurance that February is the month you could start reintroducing some beautiful seasonal fruit into your diet.
And then keep at it.
Keep adding.
keep adding fruit. Okay, so what I've done is just hollowed out the middle of the pears, and I'm going to place them in my baking pan here. And then we're gonna make our filling. So what's great about this one is that it can be as a breakfast or a dessert, because basically we're gonna make a crumble topping that goes and bakes inside our pears. So we are going to, first we need about a 1/4 cup of walnuts. This is giving you a little bit of protein, but you definitely don't need to use the walnuts. If you're allergic or don't like it, you swap them out and just do the regular oatmeal crumble.
Yeah, you can also use seeds. Like I really like using pumpkin seeds or sunflower seeds. Nuts can be really expensive, so just shop around and just choose whatever is on sale, and you can swap it out for the one that's less expensive.
Okay, and so we're gonna do our walnuts, and then we do, I don't remember how much oatmeal do I need. 1/4 cup. 1/4 cup, so this is a 1/2 cup. So
you're really good at measuring. I just usually throw it all in.
Yeah. The nice thing about this recipe, even though it's baked pears, is that you really can just throw stuff in. There's no baking powder, no flour, nothing that's going to do a chemical reaction other than the caramelization of the pears. So it's okay if you just do it to taste. Next we're going to do, so we've got the walnuts in here, we've got our oatmeal, and then we're going to do 1/2 cup of brown sugar. And you don't want it packed, so you just, because that's gonna, if you pack it, it's gonna be sweeter. You're gonna be using more sugar, so you don't need to pack it. They're quite sweet on their own. I actually made a batch earlier to test them, and I accidentally used my 1/4 cup measure, and they were just fine.
Could you, instead of sugar, use like a bit of honey or maple syrup?
I don't know that they're gonna do the same caramelization for this, because you're making like a meal, so that's why you need the soft room temperature butter.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it would work the same well with a liquid sweetener.
Okay.
You could try it and let us know. Maybe we can try it for the next time, but this one oh, and I forgot the cinnamon. I'm too excited to make these. Okay, and then you want a whole teaspoon of cinnamon. Again, you can use that to your taste. If you don't like cinnamon, or if you're making this not in February, like in the fall, and you want a pumpkin spice, you can definitely switch up the spices that you're using in here. So you just want to crumble it up. I think I'm going to use just a little bit more butter to get that nice crumble.
It's kind of like an apple crisp topping.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what it is. And instead of doing a whole bunch of topping and then you don't have to do all that cutting and peeling, this is so fast, and
it's romantic because you're massaging, right? Like there's a lot of like massaging going on, which is very romantic. And I actually think baked pears, you know, they're kind of a date night dessert. So it's a lot of fun to do these for a date night, or even just a friendly, whatever floats your boat, right?
Yes. And what you saw is I did try to empty, maybe I should have emptied them a little bit more, but because these were so firm, I wasn't able to get quite as much of it as I wanted out. Ideally, I would have emptied a little bit more of the pear so that I could fit more of this delicious topping.
Great, I think they're ready to go in the oven.
So what else you need, I'm just gonna...
Those look great.
The other nice, all the dish towels, okay. Then you're gonna put about 1/3 cup of water in the bottom. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna collect all the sugar, all the juices, and then you're going to sprinkle that on the end after to, again, add some more natural sweetness through this.
How much water would you like?
About 1/3 cup.
Okay. A little more? That's probably good, eh?
Maybe a little bit. Because it's a big... And then you're gonna put this in the oven and bake it.
At 160 degrees, or about 350.
375 Fahrenheit.
Okay.
For 35 to 45 minutes until they get soft. And then we're going to, I'll show you what they're gonna look like when they're done. So these are my pretty pears. Can you see these?
And you just want to put some yogurt on top?
And then you want to, so you can do these with yogurt or ice cream. What's great is if you want to do it a dessert, you can definitely top them up with yogurt, ice cream, or you can do it for yogurt and then have them for breakfast. So you're gonna put some, these are plain Greek yogurt. And then Dani.
I just love these rose petals. I feel like this just says Happy Valentine's Day to that special someone. And so here you have bumped up your fiber intake, you're getting some whole grains, and you're not getting a lot of sugar, but a lot of great texture and flavor. So that's a great way to celebrate February. Thank you so much for joining us on Come Cook With Us, and Happy Valentine's Day.
Explore the Kidney Wellness Hub today for more tips on building a healthier you at kidneywellnesshub.ca. Hope to see you there soon.
Going from a point of not knowing if you're going to wake up the next morning to a point where you feel great, you don't taste metal anymore. Everything, you can actually taste your food. You have so much more energy, especially now where I was working back then, but it was a different type of vibe when you were getting up every morning because I had to do dialysis. I had to be off at a certain time to get home to do dialysis in order to get to work on time the next morning and, find myself doing little things while I'm still hooked up to the machine to get out of the door. But, when I look at today, being able to just wake up, which is weird. I had to pause the machine, or I had just even to get up to go to the washroom. This was really weird. For those of you who don't understand about dialysis and the freedoms that you have after a kidney transplant, I'm working, as much as I can, and I've done a number of projects in film and television. I'm able to write, and I have so much more energy. I feel amazing. I still feel blessed. I feel beyond blessed, to be 100% honest with you. And I just feel like, thinking back, and it goes all the way back to the thought process and the understanding that, donors, like if someone did not sign their donor card, I'm not sure if I'd be sitting here today. So I feel blessed and, triumph, like you just saw. I feel like triumph for me right at this point has been detrimental to just my peace of mind.
Within a month, I was able to be at about 80% capacity. Of course, I was careful with the way I moved, but it was surprisingly quick.
So on that note, what is the first meal you had after your transplant that you really felt excited about?
Potatoes. I love potatoes, and potatoes, unfortunately, are quite high in potassium. So I could only eat them in small doses, or I would have my dietitian upset at me saying, like, why do you do this again? And so, I honestly don't recall the first meal, because I think I was still a little bit drugged up on the painkillers. But I do recall potatoes being the first meal that I was really like, yes, this is the life. So, yeah, some potatoes.
And what, do you want to tell us about the anniversary that you just celebrated?
It's hard to believe that it's been a year, and that the state of my life now is so different from a year prior. When I went into the surgery, I thought I was in great shape. I tolerated peritoneal dialysis extraordinarily well, but now being, a year after the transplant, I realized just how much impact my health had on my overall life. My energy levels are far, far better than I had when I was on dialysis. So, long story short, we're going to celebrate on the weekend just to be able to, really be grateful for the second lease on life I've had.
In 2017, I was referred to the transplant clinic. My doctor at the time said that he thought it was early for me to be referred there, but he didn't see a problem with doing it early. He said there's no real downside to being assessed. So I went there and I was assessed for transplant and approved as a recipient. But it was March of this year that both the transplant clinic and the kidney clinic were stressing to me that, okay, things are getting to the time where you really, you're thinking it's about a year and a half from now, you will probably need a transplant. So it's time for you to start making it widely known and getting more people involved coming up for a donation. But out of the blue, a friend of a friend of a friend kind of thing contacted me on Facebook and said, hey, I hear you need a kidney. I've got two. I'm willing to donate to you. And so that person went ahead and signed up through the kidney transplant process. And that kind of ticked me over. It's like, this person came out of the blue. I better get some more people involved in this. And so that's when I wrote a kind of a more public appeal on Facebook, detailing where I was in the process and what my kidney function level was and things like that. So that was sort of the cry for help. I asked people to step forward, and yeah, that's when that happened.
And I know that members of your search and rescue team have also stepped up and...
Yeah, not just my team either. The search and rescue community in BC is 80 teams all over the province. Yeah. And I've been very fortunate over the years to have gone all over the province and met many of them. So members of the SAR community who I don't necessarily know very well are also coming forward to be tested from various places in BC.
In fact, the call out for living donors to search and rescue teams across the province proved to be very successful, with many of Michael's team members stepping forward to be tested. And ultimately, a perfect living donor match was found. Shortly after hospitals were opened for the first time following the COVID shutdown in 2020, Michael's transplant took place, and both he and his living donor are enjoying happy, healthy lives.
Save the date, Saturday, March 9th, 2024. That's the date of the much anticipated 12th Annual Kidney Gala taking place at the Paradox Hotel, Vancouver. Step into the 1960s glamour and celebrate 60 years of the Kidney Foundation of Canada. Every year, our community comes together to raise funds and awareness for kidney patients in BC and the Yukon, supporting innovative kidney health and transplant research. This year's gala will feature inspiring speakers, both silent and live auctions, an online raffle, and of course, delectable food and drinks. It's an evening you don't want to miss.
And back again this year is our grab-and-go Restaurant Row gift card selection that will be online, available for viewing and bidding at the Kidney Gala website as of March 1st.
You don't want to miss our carefully curated silent and live auctions featuring regional getaways, local experiences, fine art, and so much more. This is an evening of celebrating the glitz and the glamour of the 1960s, so you're going to want to be there. To purchase your tickets or find out more, please visit the website on your screen. We hope to see you there.
Can you imagine losing most of something without realizing it? Over time, kidney disease can destroy up to 80% of kidney function before you notice any symptoms. Talk to your family doctor to see if you're at risk and need to be screened. It could save your life.
What spoke to you? What made you want to become an altruistic donor?
I thought, why not? I guess everybody asks me that. Why did you?
Sure, yeah.
And I think all I could think of was I've had a really good run at this life. You know, I was 75 then. I'd never really suffered any major health issues. I felt, why not? And it was something I could do. I didn't really know what was involved. I just knew I'd give up a kidney. That was about it.
I can't speak to the person, you know, I'm not the person that received, but from yourself, but, you know, as a recipient, you know, it's such a grateful gift. But I could understand how challenged that would have, because you didn't see the immediate possible changes within that recipient. But there's the hope that, of course, that they have gone on to, you know, even though it's not that long ago, hopefully they're feeling better. They're hopefully maybe off of dialysis, which would be life-changing for a patient, and being able to move on with living their life with maybe not feeling as sick. And what a beautiful feeling that must be. So, you know, you're only a handful of months post-surgery. Did you have any issues or complications that came out of the surgery at all?
No, I think, but, well, I've put it this way. I've had back surgeries and I've had a knee replacement.
Right.
And this was far less painful and far less intrusive.
Wow.
Because I was up walking that day.
Right.
And I mean, I was out walking as soon as I got back to stay with this friend.
Right.
So that was something, you know, after knee surgery, it was quite a struggle. So I would say it was a very relatively simple recovery, for me anyway.
Like, I don't remember any of the discomfort, I don't remember any of the hardship, I don't remember any of it. All I remember is, you know, I had some time off work, I had a lot of good experiences, I've got a new friendship that's developed, and it really was the greatest journey I've been on so far. he'll come by the stand and I'll rip into him. And they did a little documentary, and at the end of it, I slapped a little paper on the back. It said "kidney thief" on the back of him.
And then when you do things like this, or you put your story out there, it
Yeah.
helps to educate people and to put their minds at ease a little.
After seeing what Tim went through being on dialysis, which is garbage, it's awful for any human being to go through that, we decided to find local people that needed a kidney.
You're like the poster guy for living donation.
I always live a good life, and my life has only gone higher and higher. Like, there's no slowing down. There's no, oh, I can't do that because I donated a kidney. No, life has been just a gas, and I continue to live it to the fullest with 0 speed bumps.
And that's what I was getting at. Your health hasn't suffered in any way.
48 hours after the operation, I was at home walking my dog. Yes, I was a little tender, but I wanted to show people how easy it was. And 3 or 4 weeks after that, with help of my customers and friends, I started to slowly get back into work. But, you know, if I had more of a physical job, there's no way. They're cutting through stomach muscle. No big deal. It's like a cesarean. How many women have had cesareans? And they're still lugging away, running the house, going to work, doing the gym. Do it. Do it. With my food truck business, we specialize in Nathan's footlong hot dogs from New York City. We serve them on a custom pretzel bun, and if you donate a kidney, yeah, if you donate a kidney, we'll give you free hot dogs for life.
I can explain it no differently than flipping a light switch. He was able to do things that he hadn't been able to do for years, and he wasn't freezing cold anymore, and all those other things. We were in Vancouver for 3 months as part of that program, and there was absolutely no problem with that. We had a beautiful accommodation down in Burrard and almost Robson, and he was able to walk the seawall and all the rest of that stuff all within, as soon as we got into the suite. So his goal was to walk around Stanley Park for the time we were down there, and he did it in segments, but he did it. And he would never been able to do that before. Never, 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 never. For donating a kidney, there are no side effects of that. If sore knees are part of the side effects, then I got that. But yeah, I don't think that's it. I think it's something else. It is the most rewarding thing you'll ever do in your life. It is just absolutely amazing. And Sam recovered way faster than I did. I was down for the count for a good month, but others recovered faster than I did. Not better, but faster. But I mean, taking a month off, tired mostly. That was the only other thing, just tired. So, yeah, I would say if you can, do it. There's nothing like it. Nothing. It's one of those things that you can kind of wear your badge of honor, but I don't really do a badge of honor very well. So you just have to know. It's good. It's all good.
祝大家龍年龍馬精神，萬事如意。I screwed up the last one. The last, I added Chinese.